Hello, my name is Jenny Pond, and I'm here today with actor James Cromwell, and we are at the Power Shift Conference 2009 with over 11,000 youth here visiting from around the globe and sharing information about human rights violations, victimization of the land, climate change, and many other green-related topics that are so important to our survival as a species. And I'd like to introduce James, and he is, of course, is a very well-known actor and a really human rights activist. Okay.
So right next to the camera.
There we go. That's right. Thank you. Okay, James, I wanted to ask you a little bit about what inspired you to become involved in human rights violations and the victimization of the land. And what spurred you on?
When I was in my 30s, I sort of lost the plot of what I was doing with my life, and followed some lady to Europe, and then she wanted to go to Africa, to Algeria, and so I went with her to Algeria, and then we split up, and I kept on going, and I traveled through Africa for 8 months, and then I kept on going and hitchhiked around the world. It was 18 months, and as I met the Tuareg people, I met people all over, and so I have a sense of sort of the interconnectedness of this world. I've also worked with the Lakota people and indigenous people in the United States. I went to Australia to make the film Babe, and went to Alice Springs, which is in the central part, and did a walkabout and saw that magnificent monolith, the Uluru, and walked around it, which is one of the sacred sites for the Aboriginals in Australia. And when you respond to the earth, and you respond to the air, and you respond to the inhabitants as part of the balance of life, you have a reverence for it, and you feel that you have a responsibility. It's my house, and I know that indigenous people hold the solution as to how we're supposed to live on this planet. We're supposed to leave no trace, walk gently, and leave no footprint. I don't mean necessarily that people have to go back to living in teepees. What I mean is that they have to develop, we as white Westerners have got to develop a relationship with the planet where we are stewards, where we see ourselves appropriately in the entire spectrum of life, that all sentient being is sacred, and that we must have a reverence and an obligation and a responsibility towards maintaining this planet and the systems that work on this planet. Otherwise, we won't have them.
I wanted to ask you, could you talk about what you've learned this weekend as far as being a part of this Beyond Nuclear event, and here at the Power Shift Conference, and being with the people you've been with these last few days?
Well, I think the event, the panel that Beyond Nuclear put together was extraordinary, and I was not aware of what was happening in Niger. I was not really, I knew about the mines to some degree. In fact, I flew into Salt Lake City and saw the mines that are there. I had worked with the Go Shoots in Utah to try to prevent the transportation of high-level nuclear waste across the country to be deposited there as an alternative to Yucca Mountain. But the extent of the devastation to the Navajo community, I spent some time on the Hope Reservation, and all through the Southeast, wherever these mines are, you go unconscious and you forget that this is an ongoing problem, that people are still being poisoned, their communities are still impacted, generations are still affected, and so it educates me to be a part of this, it inspires me to be a part of this, and it motivates me to do more by hearing the courage and the commitment to their people and to their solutions that these panel members all expressed.
I wanted to also ask you, since the traditional media does not cover these topics very well, how do you think we can further spur this information on out into throughout the globe?
I think that the majority of the kids at this conference are here because they communicate over the internet. I think that to me is the great equalizer. I have a contempt for mainstream media. I think it's completely co-opted. I think the whole purpose is to keep from us the information necessary to make effective change in our life, to organize. That's what its purpose is. So I think it's of no use whatsoever. Now, I'm part of that because that's my livelihood, but I am trying more and more to be involved in independent projects, local projects that talk about local issues. And I always tell young filmmakers, stay at home. Make films about what you know, with people that you know, and distribute them on the internet, self-distribute. All these technologies are beginning to develop now because there's a demand for it, because these kids understand, and I think the bulk of the people in America are beginning to understand that we have to come up with our own localized alternative solutions. The solutions that come from Washington and come from these multinational corporations is always a top-down solution. And it is the pyramid is organized to draw as much profit and energy to the top without it ever circling back. They don't understand that it's cyclical, which is why they're in such trouble, because it's linear. And the solutions are local. The solutions are circular, the solutions are inclusive, the solutions are feminine, and if we take advantage of that, we will succeed, we will prevail.
You were on Capitol Hill yesterday.